You send a voice note, 40 seconds, casual, charming. Then, out of morbid curiosity, you play it back. And a stranger starts talking, some nasal, higher, slightly damp-sounding person you have never met, using your exact words. So you do what we all do, delete, re-record. 5 takes later, you give up and send the first one and spend the afternoon quietly grieving. Here's the fun part. That stranger is the only version of you anyone else has ever heard. Your boss, your best friend, everyone you've ever loved. They all know recording you. You're the only person on earth who's never met him. Today, why your skull has been lying to you since birth, why the cringe is deeper than sound, and the study that caught people accidentally fancying their own voice. Let's go. First, let's clear the suspect everyone blames, the microphone. Your phone records your friends just fine. You never gasp at how weird they sound. The mic is innocent, which leaves one suspect. The call is coming from inside the skull. And notice something sneaky. You never cringe while you're actually talking. On calls, in meetings, mid-argument, your voice sounds great to you. The horror only arrives on playback. That's your first clue. Live you and recorded you aren't the same audio. Something gets added when you speak, and stripped when you listen back. When you speak, sound reaches your ears by 2 completely different roads. Everyone else only gets road number 1. Road 1, air. Your voice leaves your mouth, wobbles across the room, and enters ears the normal way. That's the version phones record. That's the version humanity hears. Road 2 is the private one. Your vocal cords don't just push air, they buzz. And that buzz travels straight up through the bones of your own head. Bone carries sound differently than air. It's better at the low, warm, bassy frequencies. Your skeleton is, and I mean this scientifically, a subwoofer. Don't take my word for it. Try this right now. Plug both ears with your fingers and hum. Go on, I'll wait. Louder, right? Deeper, rounder. You just muted road 1 and heard road 2 solo, your voice traveling through pure skull. That bass? That's the ingredient recordings delete. So every time you speak, you hear the air version plus a secret bass boost nobody else gets. A private remix. Studio quality. Audience of 1. This is roughly the science Georg von Bekesy mapped out, the researcher whose work on how hearing actually works, including through bone, won a Nobel Prize in 1961. A recording strips out the bone road entirely. What's left is your voice minus the bass. Thinner, higher, naked. That's the whole first act of the mystery. The recording isn't wrong. Your ears have been quietly flattering you, since always. And when I say always, I mean it. You started hearing your own sounds through your body before you were born. Muffled, watery, bass only. Your inner voice premiered in surround sound. The recording is the first time you hear yourself in economy class. And here's the wild historical part. For almost all of human history, the private remix was the only you. Nobody ever had heard their own real voice. Your ancestors were born, gave speeches, fell in love, argued about firewood, and died, all without once hearing what everyone else heard. The glitch existed. The playback button didn't. Then, 1877, Thomas Edison's phonograph. Suddenly, for the first time in 200,000 years of talking, humans could press play on themselves. Contemporary accounts say early listeners were often unsettled by their own recordings. Of course they were. They were meeting the stranger at age 40 with 0 warning. You cringe at a voice note. Your great-great-grandmother would have needed to sit down. We are the very first generations dealing with this glitch daily. No wonder our brains never got an update for it. Okay. So it's a frequency thing. Case closed? Not even close, because here's where 2 psychologists made it weird. In 1966, Philip Holtzman and Clyde Rousey sat people down and played them recordings of their own voices. They named what happened next voice confrontation. Confrontation. Like it's a fight. Because it kind of is. People didn't just say, I sound higher than I thought. They squirmed. They apologized. Some flat out refused to believe it was them. And Holtzman and Rousey figured out the cringe had a second ingredient, something bigger than bass. A recording doesn't just play your pitch, it plays your mood, your hesitations, the little flat spot where you got bored of your own sentence, all the stuff you didn't know you were broadcasting. They called these extra-linguistic cues, everything your voice says about you besides the words. They even chased the effect across languages. When bilinguals heard their own recordings, the squirm showed up in both languages. It follows the speaker, not the words. Recordings also snitch on things you've stopped hearing, like your accent. Everyone believes they're the neutral one. Then, the voice note says otherwise, in an accent you'd swear belongs to your uncle. Because that's the other thing your voice carries. Your family, your hometown, every teacher you ever imitated. The recording plays your whole biography. You just wanted to say, running late. It's the audio version of catching your reflection in a shop window, not the mirror you posed for. The candid one, walking like that. Your inner voice is a headshot you approved. The recording is a paparazzi photo. Same face, zero consent. Picture the classic crime scene, someone's wedding, months later, the video arrives. There you are giving the toast you rehearsed for a week. You press play, beaming. 4 seconds in, you're watching through your fingers. Not because the speech was bad, the room loved it, but the voice delivering it wasn't the one you rehearsed with. 2 audiences, same speech. The room heard a hit. You heard a stranger doing a loving impression of you. Both were right. Which brings us to the real reason the cringe goes so deep. This was never about audio quality, it's about identity. Your brain keeps a file called me, your face from your favorite angle, your voice with the bass boost, your jokes at their best. It's the audio version of having a favorite selfie angle. You don't hold the phone up there by accident. You've A/B tested your own face. The bone voice is just the selfie angle you never chose. The recording contradicts the file. And when reality argues with self-image, your brain doesn't calmly update the file. It cringes. Cringe is the sound of a file refusing to save. Meanwhile, and this is the part I need you to sit with, everyone you know already loves the paparazzi version. Your best friend chose that voice. Your partner fell for that voice. The bass-boosted studio version you're so protective of. Literally, nobody has ever heard it. So, when you say I hate my real voice, you've got it backwards. The recording is the real one. The one you love is the private remix. Now, fair pushback. Maybe recordings really are a bit worse. Tiny phone speakers, compression. That voice note did go through a potato. True, but researchers use clean studio recordings and the squirm survives. High fidelity, same confrontation. The potato was never the problem. And here's the counter clue that proves it. People who hear themselves constantly, podcasters, singers, radio hosts, mostly stop cringing. The voice didn't change. The file updated. There's even a name for the machinery behind that. In 1968, psychologist Robert Zayonk showed that simply seeing or hearing something repeatedly makes you like it more. He called it the mere exposure effect, which quietly explains the whole crime. You've had a lifetime of exposure to the bone version, so you love it. You've had minutes of exposure to the recorded one, so it feels like an intruder. It also explains your friends. They've had years of exposure to recording you. By Zayonk's math, they're as attached to that voice as you are to your secret one. Familiarity doesn't make your voice better, it makes it yours. Which sets up the twist, because in 2013, psychologist Susan Hughes ran the sneakiest voice study I know of. She had people rate the attractiveness of a stack of recorded voices, hidden in the stack, unlabeled, their own. People rated their own voice as more attractive than other people's voices, significantly more, without knowing it was theirs. Read that again. Strip away the ownership and the voice you claim to hate quietly wins the pageant. The moment they learned which voice was theirs, the cringe came right back. Same sound, new information, full collapse. So the problem was never the sound. Your voice, objectively, is fine. Possibly lovely. The problem is that it's you, and you're the one listening. The cringe isn't a review. It's a reflex. Your self-image flinching at an unauthorized photo. And it's about to get more relevant, not less. Voice notes, podcasts, video calls, AI clones of your voice reading your emails. Recording you is slowly becoming the main you. Which means the two of you should probably make peace. He's got your career now. So, what do you do with all this? 3 things, and the first one is genuinely free. 1. Listen to yourself more, not less. Every playback updates the file. The podcasters weren't born immune. They just ran out of cringe. If you want the speed run, record one 30-second voice memo a day and play it back. By day 7, Science says the stranger starts sounding suspiciously like a friend. 2. Next time a recording ambushes you, remember the pageant study. Your honest opinion of that voice, before you knew it was yours, was 2 thumbs up. 3. Be a little kinder to the stranger in the voice note. Everyone you love has only ever known him, and they stayed. Your skull spent your whole life running a private remix. The world fell for the original anyway. Maybe stop arguing with the audience. And the next time someone says they hate their recorded voice, you can lean in and say, actually, you're the only person alive who's never heard your real one. Then walk away mysteriously.